in the quarterfinal stage. But the form team is the home team. But oftentimes that can go out of the window once we arrive this deep into a EuroCup season. It's quarterfinal action about to get underway. Game 1 of a best-of-3 series here at the Max Schmeling-Halle in the German capital. The home team, ALBA Berlin, wearing their traditional home colors of sky blue, and the visitors, a near strip of white trimmed with green and purple. Well, the jump ball was grabbed by Shermadini, which meant that we didn't have an opening tip, but more an opening catch. And as a result, despite appearing to control the opening tip, the first possession of the game will in fact belong to the home team. Saibu inbounds to Sigma, who is orchestrating things from the forward position. He's guarded by Wiltje. Checking in and firing and landing from downtown. Peyton Seaver, 57% on the season, returning to action for the first time since round 10, and he knocks down his first three-pointer. Terrific start for the home team. They lead by 3. Wiltje short on his three-point attempt, last touched by Shermadini down in the post, I suspect, and so it is the home team's ball. And the crowd into this immediately. Unicaja Malaga, well, part of their task would have been to take the crowd out of it. But that three-pointer by the returning Peyton Seaver has given them something to cheer about early. He's got the basketball now. He possesses an edge in speed over just about everybody on the court, particularly Shermadini. He's shooting over the towering center, can't get it to go. Wiltje with the rebound. So Brian Roberts. Remember, Jaime Fernandez out, so an increased load of responsibility will come on his shoulders in the point guard position. Shermadini backing down Clifford. Look at Peyton Seaver doubling down, but in doing so, somebody has committed a foul. Peyton Seaver so quick. And that will do Peyton Seaver's confidence the world of good. Knocking down that three-pointer. Three-pointer fired off right. And a rebound secured by Dennis Clifford. Peyton Seaver with his hands up, with his head up. Uses that quickness we referred to get all the way to the glass. Blowing by the defender as though he wasn't there. He really is so effective at controlling the tempo. Peyton Seaver, 67% foul shooter this campaign, makes the first. And it's a perfect trip to the free throw line. All 5 of ALBA Berlin's points have come from the hot hand of Peyton Seaver. Minute and a half gone, and Unicaja Malaga still in search of their first field goal. And a turnover committed by tonight's visitors. Luis Castimiro, well, not the start that he would have wanted. Completely on opposite pages of the playbook. Wiltje tossing it towards the table officials, rather than to a teammate clad in white. So Sigma pulling up after the dribble for a mid-range J. Rebound secured by Shermadini. So Sigma with the loose ball, and Unicaja Malaga struggling to find a rhythm at this point. Quick three-pointer fired by Giedraitis, and ALBA Berlin continuing to profit from the 3-ball. Now 2 of 3 from downtown, and they've raced out to a brilliant start. Well, I thought it was a 3. It is in fact a 2, and Brian Roberts gets the first score on the board with over 2.5 minutes gone for Unicaja Malaga. Dennis Clifford with a nice turnaround off the glass to put his team up by 7 once again, equaling their largest lead of the game after their blistering 7-0 start. Roberts pulls up for 3, off right by some distance. Luke Sigma fighting for that one. Peyton Seaver threatening the perimeter, but electing to pull it back out. pulling up for three. In and out. Rebound secured by Milosavljevic. Roberts, defended by Saibu. Saibu twisted up as Brian Roberts able to get into the lane. So Dennis Clifford taking a seat on the bench. After picking up his first foul on the inside and checking into the game. Here's Landry Noko. He's picking up Shermadini now. Shermadini comes to the high post. On the drive is Vacinski. He's lost the basketball and then recovering it well. Luke Sigma has just stepped on the baseline. Now, is that going to be reset to a 14? Yes, it is. I wondered for a moment whether the shot clock would remain in the red. Seeing the tough inside score. Dennis Clifford came down from that rather gingerly. I thought he was benched after picking up his first foul, but it may be just a slight injury concern. We'll keep an eye on that as this game progresses. Well, when Luke Sigma went after that basketball, the shot clock was deep into the red. Something in the region of 2 seconds remaining on the offense. One wonders whether that is what is being addressed now. Indeed it is, because Sigma never deemed to have complete possession, so it would have been rather harsh for the shot clock to be reset to 14. The officials, of course, optimally placed and recognizing that. And so Unicaja Malaga in this quadrant of an atmosphere have 2.1 seconds in which to fashion a shot. Wiltjer fires from three immediately, back iron on the shot, but then they get the offensive rebound. Milosavljevic giving Unicaja Malaga a new 14. Pulling up for three and draining it from downtown is Adam Vacinski. He closes the gap to within 4. ALBA Berlin 9, Unicaja Malaga 5. Luke Sigma not really giving him Saibu a good target, but now he's going to work down in the low post. Using his body against Kyle Wiltjer. Wiltjer called for the foul. Terrific stroke from Vacinski, 43% from downtown this season. Nailing from long range for his first points of the game. So Peyton Siva preparing to inbound. What an impact he's had on this contest on his return. Giedraitis from the same spot where he hit his first J. Off the mark on this occasion. So Roberts clearing out Milosavljevic. That gives Shermadini room to work. He's double teamed by Saibu. The ball comes back in his direction. He can't handle the initial pass cleanly. Baseline was open. Oh, delightful move. Taking the open opportunity against Landry Noko. And remember, Landry Noko, one of the best shot blockers in the league. 1 rejection per night. But Shermadini going baseline and getting the reverse to go. Giedraitis absorbing the contact and still getting the right-handed line drive to drop. 4 points in the game now for Giedraitis. He puts his team back up by 4. Wiltjer offloads to Vacinski. Brian Roberts has it now. He's defended by Saibu. Look at Saibu getting physical with Kyle Wiltjer. He's double teamed. And then the sneaking Peyton Siva bags that steal and initiates a fast break where he pulls up for 3 and buries it. The impact of Peyton Siva evident in that play alone, sneaking up on what proved to be a triple team, sparking a fast break, and then having the confidence to pull up in 3-point territory for his second triple of the night, his 8th point of the night, and he puts his team up by 7, equaling their largest lead of the game. Unicaja Malaga are being doubled up in the early stages. Noko Landry was looking to initiate contact with Shermadini, and then the ball went towards the baseline, resulting in a turnover from the hands of Luke Sigma. But there's the poke away. Luke Sigma feeding the man who poked the ball loose, And Peyton Seaver bagging his second three-pointer of the night. 2 of 4 from downtown to this juncture in the game. And his team leading by 7 for the 3rd time in the contest. Inside to Shermadini. Noko Landry committing the foul. Or Landry Noko, excuse me, committing the foul. So in line possession for Unicaja Malaga. Salim. So Luke Sigma called for the foul. That's his first. Just beyond the midpoint. ALBA Berlin close to the penalty. Salin short on the 3. Luke Sigma with the board. Continue to do an outstanding job on the glass. What a break from ALBA Berlin. Landry Noko rewarded for running the floor. And it gives ALBA Berlin their largest lead of the game. They're up by 9. Salin. Peyton Seaver caught up on the screen. Shermadini, a rare miss from 2-point territory. Terrific hustle by ALBA Berlin. Landry Noko came up with it. Hermansen for 3. Doesn't get the shooter's roll. Terrific offensive board by Landry Noko. Remember, he's the man who came up with the defensive board, and then he booked down court and got himself into terrific position. The 24-year-old from Cameroon making his presence felt at both ends of the floor. Look at that for positioning. That's an offensive rebound, but yet he was able to put Shermadini on his back, giving him prime position beneath the basket. He secured the offensive board and gives his team a new 14. Well, confirmation of Unicaja Malaga's struggles from the field so far. The loud hailers in effect. Foghorns, thunderclappers, drums being beaten. Nice catch on the inside, and that's a goaltend, so that basket will count. Niels Giffey with the jump hook on the inside, his first points of the game. And it's an 11-point lead now. And it's a run of 9 points without reply for ALBA Berlin. Roberts working on Hermansen. 3-pointer is off the mark. Landry Noko with another board. Hermansen with his head up. Look at Landry Noko run the floor again. Oh, rattles home another 3-pointer. Luke Sigma from downtown. His first points of the game, but what an impact he has had with 2 rebounds, 3 assists and 2 steals, and then he bagged his first triple of the night. Remember, Sigma shooting 42% from downtown on the season, and that has blown this game wide open. Timeout on the floor. Unicaja Malaga want to talk things over. Well, there's the finish by Niels Giffey on the inside. Everything going right for ALBA Berlin. Landry Noko with the defensive board, racing down court. Luke Sigma pulling up for 3. And that gives you an idea as to how things are flowing for the home team, because coming into this game, Luke Sigma was stone cold from long range. 0 of 7 from downtown over the last 3 games. But he stroked that one confidently. And of course, when you consider that he's still a 42% shooter for the season, 33% for his career from downtown, you don't become a bad shooter overnight. And that one made 3-pointer could well open the floodgates for Luke Sigma. He does so many things so well, so effectively for his team. So just over 3 minutes to go in the first quarter. ALBA Berlin currently in the midst of a run of 12 points without reply. Shermadini pleading for the basketball as he made his way down the lane. Hasn't left the hands of Brian Roberts, and now the shot clock's in the red. He goes to the crossover. Difficult jump hook. Goes glass. Terrific offensive board. And stick back by Carlos Suarez. His first points of the game. So that snaps the run of unanswered points at 12 and reduces the deficit to 12 after Unicaja Malaga were trailing by as many as 14. Noko in the low post, working against Shermadini. Goes to the left-handed hook. That's well short, and the rebound is hoovered up off that air ball by Suarez. Shermadini posting up strong, using that big body, rumbling down the lane, but he's surrounded by a trio of blue defenders, and they pocket another steal. We've mentioned the fact that they're the league leaders. As Hermansen gets clever with the Euro step, Shermadini with the big defensive board. But as well as being the most potent offense in the competition, they're also leading the competition in steals. That's a delightful spin move by Carlos Suarez, taking the open baseline, presented by Tim Schneider. So Landry Noko taking a seat on the bench after a terrific shift, giving a spell to Dennis Clifford, the starting center. But Landry Noko having a real impact, hauling in 3 rebounds, one of them at the offensive end, and scoring a bucket on the inside as well. Carlos Suarez, a rather modest 57% foul shooter on the season, able to get the first. And that's 3 points in a row from this man's hot hand. Make that 4. So perhaps the playbook will be as simple as get the ball to Carlos Suarez. But Unicaja Malaga have had difficulty getting the ball to their intended man as Niels Giffey bombs away from downtown. 42% from long range on the season. And he hits that 3-pointer to move to 5 points in the game and put his team up by 13. Suarez, they do get the ball into his hands. He's working against Schneider in the low post. Kicks it to the corner. 3-pointer is fired up by Milosavljevic. He can't find the range. Tim Schneider's booking hard down this near side. Ball is over on the far side of the court. Down it comes to the corner, and it's rattled home by Franz Wagner. The long-range 3. He's just 3 of 12 from downtown coming into this season, the 17-year-old. He's made that one near, and it's crucial. Carlos Suarez again playing with plenty of aggression, and his aggression is being rewarded. ALBA Berlin, remember, in the penalty, and perhaps when the shots aren't falling, doing the right thing by taking it to the bucket. But here's Franz Wagner with Salin closing out on him. He's able to bury the shot from downtown. He was 0 of 4 from 3-point territory during the top 16, but showed no sign of hesitation when the ball came in his direction. So Carlos Suarez, an 80% foul shooter for his career, burying both, and what an impact he's had on the game. 6 points in the game now for Carlos Suarez as he reduces the arrears to 14. Checking into the game is Johannes Thiemann for ALBA Berlin. Hermansen runs the point. He's picked up by the new signing of Unicaja Malaga, Ryan Boatwright. Joined in round 3 of the top 16. Difficult shot attempt, ball being battered around as though it's a volleyball, and it's Boatwright who is orchestrating things now. His 2nd season in EuroCup action. Previously played a few years ago, taken away by ALBA Berlin, pushing hard on Berlin, and Hermansen finishing on the break. And this is free-flowing ALBA Berlin basketball at its very best. And Unicaja Malaga, well, they've come cold out of the blocks in this first quarter and are trailing by 16 once again. The fans have been into this from the opening score, which was buried by the returning Peyton Seaver. Boatwright with a 3-point attempt, count the the basket and the foul. He'll go to the free throw line looking to complete a 4-point play. Well, not a smart play there by Hermansen. The step back three, well, he didn't leave his feet, Hermansen. He can't believe he's been called for the foul, but the contact was significant enough for the whistle to be tweeted. But what a different complexion this game is going to have on it now at the end of the first quarter. So can ALBA Berlin get a shot away as Boatwright completes a 4-point play? Hermansen draws iron on the buzzer beater attempt. But at the end of 10 minutes, Unicaja Malaga find themselves trailing by just 12. They've been down by as many as 16 in this game, but a 4-point play by Ryan Boatwright checking into the game off the bench just before the buzzer to end the first quarter sees them back to within touching distance. ALBA Berlin 29, Unicaja Malaga 12 after 10 minutes of play here at the Max Schmeling-Halle. Well, some of the highlights from the first quarter. This was the first score of the game. Remember, we mentioned the fact that this is Unicaja Malaga's second game here at this venue this season, and if they can shoot the lights out like this, well, perhaps they'll look to change and play here more often. Just saw Rokas Giedraitis hitting a long range two. That was a 3-pointer nailed by Adam Vaczynski. Peyton Seaver created the steal. He was fed the ball from Luke Sikma and then buried his second 3-pointer of the night. Terrific stick back by Carlos Suarez, who's played with real aggressive and effective intent. Franz Wagner, a 17-year-old, burying a 3 from the corner. And some of the fans checking in for the in-between quarter festivities to see if they can catch some of the hot hand fever that ALBA Berlin have been blessed with in this first 10 minutes. 11 assists already. Unicaja Malaga just 1, and that tells you that the shots that they are making are courtesy of individual play, one-on-one, sometimes one-on-two, like we saw from Ryan Boatwright and Carlos Suarez during his 6-point total in the first 10 minutes. In stark contrast, Unicaja Malaga are being subjected to some pinpoint passing, which is picking their defense apart. ALBA Berlin sharing the basketball magnificently to the tune of 11 assists during the course of the first quarter. And as well as leading in points and steals, you won't be surprised to learn that the league's most potent offense, leading in terms of assists as well. They dish out 23.1 helpers per night, and they are on course to set a new record in the competition. 11 assists in the first quarter alone. Testimony to how well they are moving the rock. Well, ALBA Berlin, I'm sure Coach Ito will have stressed they've got to keep their concentration, because Unicaja Malaga will no doubt take a lot of confidence from that 4-point play. Salin trying to get a 3-pointer to go. Rebound secured ultimately by Saibu. He's looking for options on the break. Luke Sikma making himself available. Rotates the ball to Seaver. Seaver using that quickness. Mathias Lessort helping out over the screen. He's being posted up by Tiemann. Tiemann trying to make a big target. He now comes to set a screen at the high post, rolls down the lane. Lessort takes it away. And then there's a foul in the open court committed by Niels Gaffay. That's a terrific defensive play by Mathias Lessort. So active, the way he came out to hedge over the screen. Was averaging just under 1 steal per game, as well as swatting 1.3 blocks per night. And that gives you an idea as to why his numbers went up to 1 steal per game for the top 16. He was inquiring as to whether it's an unsportsmanlike foul. I think that may well be being reviewed over at the table now, because remember, if it's deemed to be something other than a legitimate attempt to play the ball, then the interpretation will be that it's an unsportsmanlike foul, taking away those fouls that used to be committed prior to this change in interpretation post Rio 2016 that would see teams use that tactic to take away fast break opportunities. And there's confirmation. Mathias Lessort was correct to make his enquiry. The officials making an enquiry at the table to check the video screen. And Niels Giffey has been hit with an unsportsmanlike foul, which will result in 2 free throws and possession for Unicaja Malaga. So a potential 5-point trip down the floor, although Mathias Lessort goes only 1 of 2 from the free throw line. He's just a 58% foul shooter on the season, Mathias Lessort, so right around his season average. But now there's an opportunity to get 3 more. And who better to have the rock in his hands than a man who hit a 3 to end the buzzer? Oh, delightful play! The pick and roll, and Mathias Lessort rumbling down the lane, fed by a beautiful bounce pass by Ryan Boatwright. So the man who drew the unsportsmanlike foul, Mathias Lessort, making it a 3-point trip down the floor by going 1 of 2 from the stripe and then hammering home a 2-fisted jam, flying down the lane. Boatwright with his head up, Lessort setting the screen, planted his 2 feet, and look out below as he was able to elevate. Peyton Seaver not able to get a piece of the ball. Terrific play by Mathias Lessort. What a spark plug he has proved to be for Unicaja Malaga, who have reduced what was a 16-point deficit to single figures now. Sigma working the dribble, drives baseline against Carlos Suarez, and he's fouled en route. So Sigma, defended by Suarez, bounce pass down low to Tiemann, taken away by Lessort, but fouled in doing so. Now, he doesn't agree with the call. The man who is 5th in the league in terms of rejections, 1.3 swats per night, and he thought he got his first one here. Gambled for the steal, recovered magnificently. Oh my goodness. Look at the quick feet and the activity. Wow. Oh dear me. Lessort not impressed with that call. Leave you to be the judge. So Johannes Tiemann, a 77% foul shooter on this season, unable to get the first. So Tiemann goes 1 of 2 on that trip to the free throw line. His first points in the game, first points of the quarter for ALBA Berlin. They lead by 10. Wow, Lessort is proving to be a real handful. Not much in it in terms of height between he and Tiemann, but in terms of body bulk and weight, it could be something of a catch weight contest. Suarez offloads to Boatwright. Tiemann being manhandled by Lessort once again. Oh, what a delightful offload. And Vaczynski couldn't find a finish. Excuse me, it was Salin who couldn't find the finish. Sasu Salin couldn't get the finish off the glass, off the delightful feed from Boatwright. Somehow came up with an angle to find a bounce pass, to find his cutting teammate. So back iron on the shot, rebound secured by Diaz. Daniel Diaz. It's a turnover committed by Unicaja Malaga, which will give an extra possession, and that gives hope to recreational players everywhere, because that's a turnover all of his own making. Happens sometimes. So Seaver gives it to Tiemann. Tiemann looking for Saibu. Shot clock in the red. Saibu, oh, well, look at that. Carlos Suarez guilty of not having his head on a swivel. He was watching his man and not where the ball was, as Lessort rocks the rim for the second time in the game. He and Ryan Boatwright have got a telepathic connection, found twice with bounce passes while rumbling to the bucket, and the result has been the same on both occasions. 5 points in the game now for Mathias Lessort, and he's proving difficult to handle down low. Nice bounce pass to the inside, and Johannes Thiemann, 2 points all the same to put his team up by 12. Suarez moves the ball to Daniel Diaz. Luke Sigma hustling after it. Terrific hustle play, and listen to the ovation he's receiving from the crowd here at the Max Schmelinghalle. Poked the ball free and then went hurtling headlong out after it to try and get an extra possession for his team. Luke Sigma, 5th in the league in steals, as we see that beautiful bounce pass and explosive finish from Mathias Lessort. So Unicaja Malaga will inbound from the sidelines, 3.9 seconds remaining on the shot clock. Boatwright elevating high on the J and bottoming it from the corner. Terrific shot for Ryan Boatwright. 6 points in the game for him now after completing a 4-point play earlier on. He reduces the arrears to 10. Carlos Suarez and Sasu Salin almost combining to create a steal. So checking into the game is Adam Baczynski as Salin takes a seat on the bench. So Siva defended by Boatwright. Good use of the body by Peyton Siva. Boatwright perhaps guilty of playing the man square on. With that big target to aim at, Peyton Siva initiated some contact. Easy call for the officials. Boatwright now forcing Siva left. Siva working the dribble, drives on him again and again. That quickness making Peyton Siva really difficult to patrol in the backcourt for the Unicaja Malaga defenders. Twice he went at Ryan Boatwright on back-to-back plays. Boatwright shaking his head in frustration and bewilderment at having been whistled for his second foul in a matter of seconds. To the foul line, Peyton Siva, 79% shooter for his career. Remains perfect from the free throw line tonight. So Peyton Siva gets the shooter's role on the second one. He's now 4 of 4 from the stripe in his 10-point total. The first man to double figures. He puts his team back up by 12. Suarez. Little two-man exchange between he and Baczynski. Nice drive. And then receiving the basketball once again is Daniel Diaz, but he can't find the range from three-point territory. 25% from downtown for the season. Giedraitis left all alone from the logo. Back iron on the shot. Terrific offensive board by Yoshiko Saibu. He gives it to Peyton Siva. Roberts now on defensive duty. Beautiful cut down the lane by Johannes Thiemann. Too strong off the glass. Does he get his own offensive rebound? No, it's in the hands of Lessort. Roberts, cross court, inside it goes to Carlos Suarez, who had an open baseline. Saibu doubling down. Carlos Suarez has used his dribble, but used his big hand to place a perfectly positioned bounce pass to the cutting Adam Baczynski. 5 points in the game now for Baczynski. He reduces the deficit to 10. So approaching the midpoint of the second quarter. Saibu working the dribble against Baczynski. Pulls up for three. Back iron on the shot. Johannes Thiemann with an offensive board. Sigma. Peyton Siva not really making himself available. Sigma fancies this matchup against Lessort one-on-one and pulls up for three and drops it into the eye of the 5th best shot blocker in the competition. We mentioned the drought that Luke Sigma was experiencing. My goodness, has he extinguished that in emphatic fashion here. 2 for 2 from downtown. All 6 of his points have come from long range. His team lead by 13. Trying to offload, but stealing that one away is Rokas Giedraitis, hurtling towards the hoop, but he's lost control. Daniel Diaz gives it to Brian Roberts, who pulls up for 3 in transition. Up and down basketball between these two high-octane teams. Saibu with the creative one-legged floater. He's asking for a foul because he went high towards the rafters with that teardrop runner. 4 points in the game now for Yoshiko Saibu on perfect shooting from two-point territory. Timeout on the floor. ALBA Berlin leading by 15.
Das fällt bestimmt während des Spiels runter. Sehr gut, Dankeschön, Albatros, Dankeschön, Alba Dancers. Weiter im Spiel.
Mathias Lessort seemingly not impressed with the runner that was dropped over him, and I suspect he'll be less impressed with the three-pointer that was administered into his eye by Luke Sigma. He is all smiles after ending his drought from downtown that he endured during the course of the final 3 games of the top 16 phase of the competition. No such worries here to begin the quarterfinals. ALBA Berlin, they've led by as many as 16 in the first quarter. They're leading by 15 here beyond the midpoint of quarter number 2. Poked out by Giedraitis, but Unicaja Malaga recover. Baczynski from downtown, backhand on the shot. Luke Sigma with another rebound. And then once again, Landry Noko racing down court. And all 4 of his points have come on the break like that. Terrific vision from ALBA Berlin. And Landry Noko demonstrating his hustle and foot speed on the court. It's a 17-point lead, the largest of the game for the home team. Shermadini going to the skyhook. Again, terrific offense. But Shermadini, just his second field goal of the game to take him to 4 points. Reduces the arrears to 15. Baseline drive, underhanded scoop from Peyton Seaver is a pretty play. 12 points in the game for him now. His team lead by 17 once again. So Luke Sigma with the quick feed from Peyton Seaver to find Landry Noko all alone beneath the bucket. And then watch this for a beautiful sky hook from Shermadini. So much contact, but the way he extended that left arm and got it to go. He's using his qualities, and Peyton Seaver, you're still using his quickness, flipping the ball up before the defender could encroach on him. Peyton Seaver with 12 points in the game. Well, you may as well count these and head back the other way. Brian Roberts has now made 19 consecutive free throws, 93% on the season. And he's missed just 3 times in his 42 attempts now, Brian Roberts. Reduces the gap to 15. So drawing the foul, Martin Hermansen. Shermadini helping out on the screen, but didn't move his feet quickly enough. Unicaja Malaga in the penalty. So it will send Hermansen to the free throw line. 88% shooter on the season. He's going on the first, Hermansen. And a perfect trip to the free throw line takes Martin Hermansen to 4 points in the game. His team lead by 17 once again, equaling their largest advantage of the game so far. Vacinski for three, he reduces the arrears. Second three-pointer of the game for Adam Vacinski. He's a sharpshooter that Unicaja Malaga would love to see get hot. Said it was a second three-pointer. Vacinski has been credited. Yes, it was indeed the second three for Vacinski. That takes him to 8 points in the game.
Die 33, number 33, Kyle Wiltshire. Zweites foul, second foul.
Hand to the throat, not permitted on the basketball court. So to the free throw line goes Tim Schneider. 4 of 6 from the foul line so far this season. Perfect trip to the foul line for Tim Schneider. His first points of the game. Puts his team up by 16. Shermadini with the baseline open. He rumbles to the middle once again, but the foul committed on the ground by Landry-Noko. Such a tough cover down in the block. Is Shermadini, gets the position, not afraid to initiate contact. Landry-Noko may have taken a shot to the jaw here in the Max Schmeling-Halle. Beautiful catch and finish on the inside. Sneaky play by Adam Vacinski, a result of perfect positioning. Adam Vacinski moves to double digits in the game, the first man to double figures for Unicaja Malaga. Off the screen, Rokas Giedraitis from downtown. Terrific stroke play from Rokas Giedraitis. Ball is loose, secured by ALBA Berlin. Hermansen with his head up, gets Brian Roberts off the floor, goes all the way to the glass, can't get it to go, ball still loose. Landry-Noko with the offensive board, helps himself to a jump hook, and again, the man's hustle is being rewarded. He's either running the floor or getting stickbacks at close range. So 19 points, the largest lead of the game. And Unicaja Malaga, lots of time left, of course. They will look to get a couple of scores here without reply in the final minutes of the first half. Remember, they got a 4-point play in the closing stages of quarter number 1, which reduced the arrears to 12. ALBA Berlin, rather than being deflated by that, they're dominating this quarter, 25-18. Hermansen almost lost the handle, instead he found a lane. Thiemann into the lane. Jump hook off the nice dribble move from Johannes Thiemann takes him to 5 points in the game. Puts his team up by 21. So Vacinski slices to the bucket, gets the right-handed layup to go, and at the moment he's a one-man offensive unit. 12 points in the game now for Vacinski. Giedraitis drives. That three-pointer will not count from Tim Schneider. Instead, Rokas Giedraitis will go to the free throw line. 10th in the competition in terms of free throw accuracy. 87% from the free throw line this season, Rokas Giedraitis. Duly makes the first. So Rokas Giedraitis restores the 21-point advantage have about a 2-second differential between the shot clock and the quarter clock in the closing stages of this first half. Back iron on the 3-point attempt from Daniel Diaz.
Einwurf Malaga.
So 7.2 seconds remain. Unicaja Malaga inbounding with Ryan Boatwright. Can he get another buzzer-beating 3-pointer? He's cutting hard to get the ball from Shermadini. He knows that the clock is ticking down. Working the dribble. He's fouled in the open court by Johannes Thiemann. Now ALBA Berlin, if they still got fouls to give, I think this will put them in the penalty, which will send Ryan Boatwright to the foul line if they are indeed in the penalty. He hedged out over the screen to help, but didn't move his feet. So to the free throw line goes Ryan Boatwright. He remains perfect from the line in his EuroLeague career this, EuroCup competition play this season. Confirmation that ALBA Berlin are indeed in the penalty. So Ryan Boatwright. Now can they beat the buzzer? Giedraitis for 3, back iron on the shot. What a blistering first half we have just witnessed from the home team at the offensive end. Pouring in 58 points in 20 minutes of play. They've led by as many as 21 on a few occasions, and at the halftime interval here at the Max Schmelinghalle, well, Unicaja Malaga are well and truly on the ropes. They're trailing by 19 points. ALBA Berlin 58, Unicaja Malaga 39. Well, look at how effectively ALBA Berlin are sharing the basketball. 17 assists from the team leaders in that particular stat. Dominant on the boards, pocketing 5 steals as well. They are playing their type of basketball. And remember, Unicaja Malaga, number 2 in the league in 2-point percentage, 71% from that distance, but they are being outgunned by the best offense in the competition. Some of the highlights from what has been an absolutely sensational first half. From the corner, delighted at that 3-pointer was Franz Wagner, and that was the foundation for a 4-point play from Ryan Boatwright before the buzzer to end the first quarter. Then a pick-and-roll play between he and Mathias Lessort. Lessort rocking the rim forcefully. Both of his field goals have been dunks. He was called for a foul on that block, was the 5th best shot blocker in the league. He couldn't believe it, but the call stands. Landry Noko has been really effective running the floor on the break and has been rewarded. Adam Vaczynski has buried 2 shots from downtown in the 12-point total. Rokas Giedraitis, hot from long range as well.
Between us, we look at the alley-oop over the top. Oh my heavens! Javonte Green with a one-handed catch and flush. Goodness me! Javonte Green went up the ladder.
And they're going to need 15 at the other end. Scrub driving hard. Oh! Jang throws him out.
The circumstances, a rare lead for Unicaja. Over the top and the dunk, great pass from Pierre-Henry, and Jackie Carmichael throws it down.
Alexei Nikolic guards the inbound. It comes to Parakuski with the jump shot. He drains it! The big man has been huge all night. And that's it! He almost makes the full court heave. Ritas Vilnius with the last second jump shot from the big man, Parakuski.
And that's another ghastly breakdown, and look at this. Here they come. They'll try for another 3. Utah can't put that one away, but the putback is there from Jalen Reynolds. Flying through, flying high, putting the pain on Cedevita and surely wrapping this one up. sends Buckner on his way, then goes low to Ouattara. Ouattara hangs one up there for Buckner! Big throw down on the alley-oop from Eric Buckner.
Oh, the blind pass, that's magnificent. Oh, what a start to this one by Malaga. Shamadini finishes it off. Armand, lovely bounce pass. Oh, Reynolds with an absolute thunderbolt of a dunk. Came from miles off.
That's good because Cody gets the rejection, and that's one we'll see again. Play it to the death. Lacey tries the layup. Cody says no way.
Here's Kramer. Uruguay moving it on. Pirouette in the paint. Oh my word! Javonte Green plowing through the defense. All overdrive in the Ratio Farm Arena.
Terrific offensive board by Luke Stigma. Into the lane. Oh, that is textbook low post play.
Oh, that's a steal. Shamadini's going to have his easiest points of the season.
Nicely done, Shamadini rises to the rim.
We won the title, so it was, of course, it was a special moment. We were working together all year towards that goal, and in the end, when you win something and you realize that now it's over, you did it, it's a special feeling. We had great players, but it's not always about that. It's about team chemistry, and I think we had guys and the group of guys who had been together, you know, a couple of years, and we had good chemistry in the team, and that was one of the keys. And year before we had a little disappointment, so it felt even better the next year to win something, you know, big. And in front of our fans, they were waiting for it, and it was just great. I still remember the celebrations on the court and everything. When you're working all year towards something, so it's more rewarding in the end when you're able to do it. Still, when I talk about it, it's, you know, one of the best memories of my career, for sure.
"16 are set to become 8 in the EuroCup.
ALBA Berlin, who've got so much offense, will carry that over into the quarterfinal against Unicaja Malaga.
And Valencia are going to be the only team in the top 16 to go through undefeated.
And Ritas, for the first time in a long time, going back to the quarterfinals. Loco cruising into the quarterfinals for a big matchup against their Russian rivals.
Unic Kazan remain undefeated. They go to a perfect 8-0.
As well look to continue their journey in Europe. They've qualified for the playoff stage of the competition.
Morabank Andorra will be on the road against ALBA Berlin.
Dublevic hooks in the two.
Dio, the no-look pass to Dublevic, that is absolutely delightful.
24 points, big boards at both ends of the floor.
Thomas out to Dublevic, he's got time and space, and he's nailed the three-pointer.
They will have home advantage all the way through. That's what they came for tonight. That is what they got.
Well, the visiting fans haven't really had much to cheer about over the course of the first 20 minutes here at the Max Schmeling-Halle in Berlin. Because ALBA Berlin, well, their first field goal of the game on their first possession of the game was a three-pointer from the returning Peyton Sievert. And they have led ever since. They've led by as many as 21 points. Their lead is currently 19, almost perfect from the free throw line. So too Unicaja Malaga, sharing the basketball terrifically as well. And look at the impact that this man has had on the game. Peyton Sievert, well, he hasn't been credited with his steal, but on a couple of occasions, he was instrumental in poking the ball free to hook up Luke Sigma with the free ball and spark a fast break where he pulled up for three. He's also been doubling down effectively from the high post, making the big men think twice before putting the ball on the floor. Here's the only man into double figures for the visiting team, Adam Wyszynski, game's joint top high scorer along with Peyton Sievert. 12 points apiece for those two, and Wyszynski has scored efficiently as well, perfect from two-point territory. 50% shooting from downtown. Well, one wonders what was said in the locker room by coach Luis Casimiro, because his team subjected to an offensive onslaught by ALBA Berlin, and their three-point shooting percentage is a lowly 18%. Unicaja Malaga, and that is way down on their season average of 38% on the campaign. And again, perhaps that's the fact that they're playing in an unfamiliar venue with unfamiliar sight lines, but more pointedly, it's probably due to the swarming defense being applied by the home team, ALBA Berlin. They really haven't given them time to get into any type of set, and that's illustrated as we see the numbers Rokas Giedraitis has posted. Within his 9 points, he's hit one three-pointer. His first bucket of the night, I thought, was a three initially, but he must have been stepping on the three-point line. But Unicaja Malaga just 8 assists, which means that a lot of their buckets have been coming from spectacular one-on-one, sometimes one-on-two plays, rather than as a result of rapid ball movement and finding the open man. No such concerns for ALBA Berlin, the league leaders in terms of ball distribution. On song once again to probably surpass their season average of 23 assists tonight, because they've hooked up teammates to the tune of 17 assists over the first 20 minutes. O'Brien Roberts continued his metronomic consistency from the free throw line. He's 0 of 3 from downtown, but he's made one of his two two-point attempts. dished out 3 assists as well. And remember, Alberto Diaz is out with a right leg injury. So too Jaime Fernandez, he's going to miss the quarterfinals with his leg injury. So Brian Roberts taking on increased responsibility in the point guard position. Ryan Boatwright has been playing in that spot as well when he's been on court, but Peyton Silva drew 2 fouls on him in about 2 seconds. First time, Ryan Boatwright played him square up. Peyton Silva initiated the contact, and on the ensuing inbound from the sidelines, when he took it to him again, Ryan Boatwright was forced to take a seat on the bench, having been assessed with 2 quick fouls. So the second half is underway. ALBA Berlin leading by 19. They have led by as many as 21 on a couple of occasions. Peyton Silva gives the ball to Giffey, and he's got a mismatch on the point against Milosavljevic, but taken away almost by Adam Wyszynski, and it has indeed resulted in a turnover. Terrific start to the second half by tonight's visitors, just what they wanted, because they'll be looking to chip away at this considerable double-digit deficit that they face, possession by possession, point by point. Stating the obvious, but you can't get rid of it in one trip down the floor. So tenacity going to be a key feature of their play. Lessort, who was so effective in the first half when he received the basketball, pivoting, pirouetting in the paint, but that will not count. Shot clock violation. So both teams coming out with strong defensive stances to begin the second half. Niels Giffey coughing the ball up down in the corner on ALBA Berlin's first trip down the floor. ALBA Berlin making life very difficult for Unicaja Malaga. And despite, again, it was a bucket which won't count, but it was a bucket off individual brilliance from Mathias Lessort, using his footwork down in the low post, but he didn't beat the shot clock buzzer. So Sigma comes to set a screen. Now Peyton Silva blows by Kyle Wiltjer, somehow gets the ball to Dennis Clifford. Rim shot off the glass. Mathias Lessort making it a 5-on-4 momentarily. 3-pointer is good from the corner. Dragan Milosavljevic, 37% from downtown on the season, scores the first point of the second half. He brings his team back to within 16. No basket. So Dragan Milosavljevic with his first points of the game with that 3-pointer. He's just been called for the foul. That's his second. Saibu was wide open beneath the bucket. Now he's open in 3-point territory. Mathias Lessort hits the court, and it's Adam Wyszynski who secures the ball. Milosavljevic gives it to Lessort, who barges his way towards the bucket against Dennis Clifford. He's setting up on the free throw line, but that may be rather optimistic. I'd be surprised if that foul is called in the act of shooting, and indeed it isn't. A little bit of kidology from Mathias Lessort. I'm sure he was aware it was unlikely to be deemed in the act of shooting. Back-to-back 3-pointers from Unicaja Malaga. This time it's Brian Roberts getting in on the act. His first 3 of the night takes him to 7 points in the game. Well, again, I thought it was a 3, but it's a long-range 2 that it's being counted as. So Brian Roberts still in search of his first 3-pointer, but he did get the field goal to go. Dennis Clifford turning the ball over. And Unicaja Malaga demonstrating some terrific spirit, because as Brian Roberts went diving after that ball, white-clad teammates got to his aid immediately to help him back to his feet. So despite trailing by 14, Unicaja Malaga demonstrating with their body language that they are full of fight. Now I think that we've got a call here, because they're breaching the baseline. Dragan Milosavljevic, if he does so again, we called a technical foul. Luke Sigma, air ball. Peyton Silva hauls it in, but the shot clock continues to tick. Clifford on the roll, he receives it from Peyton Silva, got the shot away. That's terrific hands, because I'm not sure he caught it cleanly on the first reception attempt. Brian Roberts getting beneath Dennis Clifford, called for the foul. A good hand demonstrated by Dennis Clifford, who now goes to the free throw line in a bid to put the first points on the board for ALBA Berlin in this second half. 78% foul shooter on the season. Dennis Clifford can't find the range on the first. He does get the second to go. So Unicaja Malaga with an 8-0 run, spanning quarters 2 and 3. Kyle Wiltjer for three. Second three-pointer of the second half for Unicaja Malaga. We're finding the three-pointer a profitable mode of attack. And all of a sudden, the deficit is just 12. Terrific start to the second half. While outscoring their opponents 8 points to 1 in this third quarter so far. Kyle Wiltjer connecting from downtown. His first points of the game. Struggled during the top 16 phase of the competition at just 23% from long range. But he's a 33% shooter overall on the season from three-point territory. Timeout on the floor. Unicaja Malaga started the second half strong. So Dennis Clifford with the sole point that ALBA Berlin have put on the board so far in this second half. They're being outscored 8-1 in the quarter so far. That is how Unicaja Malaga have managed to battle their way back to just 12 points down. And they were now 19 points down as Luke Sikma's lost his footing and lost control of the basketball. Well, he's looking questioningly at the court beneath the foul line. Working on Kyle Wiltjer, and look at that. Well, thankfully he's not being hurt, but his feet completely giving way beneath him. The floor cleaning crew called into action because players can't be thinking about whether the floor is going to provide a sure-footed surface or a surface for sure footing. They have to have complete confidence in it. That look from Luke Sikma speaking volumes, but Kyle Wiltjer with back-to-back three-pointers. Now 2 of 4 from downtown on the game, and he's reduced it to a single-digit deficit. Unicaja Malaga right back in this one. Trying to find Dennis Clifford. It's another turnover. And remember, ALBA Berlin have just called timeout. Vachinsky aggressively down the lane to Lessort, who dunks all over Niels Gaffay, who was caught beneath the bucket. And it's a 7-point deficit now. Unicaja Malaga on a roll to begin this second half. Gaffay back iron on the shot. Rebound secured by Dragan Milosavljevic. 13-1 is the run that Unicaja Malaga have put together to begin this third quarter. And that's 15-1 across quarters 2 and 3. Lessort with the offensive board, back up strong, count the basket, and he'll go to the free throw line looking to add another. He is hyped, and so too his teammates, because they are right back in this game. How on earth did he come down with that offensive board in between Saibu and Dennis Clifford, and Mathias Lessort's energy and activity being rewarded? He really is a live wire who is difficult for opposing defenses to handle. Now, Lessort, only a 58% foul shooter on the season, but he completes the three-point play. Mathias Lessort moves to double digits in the game, and he brings his team back to within 4. What a remarkable run. And then we've got an offensive foul down in the paint. Dennis Clifford flooring Brian Roberts, and it's another turnover from ALBA Berlin. That body check in that catch-weight contest, sending Brian Roberts skittling to the court. Clifford takes a seat on the bench, having picked up his second foul. And Unicaja Malaga in complete control. Would you believe that approaching the midpoint, the league's leading offense have scored just 1 point in over 4.5 minutes of play? They're trying to stop Unicaja Malaga here, but they continue to rain three-pointers from long range. Adam Wyszynski, with his third three-pointer of the night, moves to 15 points in the game, and they are back to within 1. Well, rather than being silenced, as the shot is off the mark from Franz Wagner. Well, Wyszynski working the dribble and pulling up from downtown to bury his third three-pointer of the night. All of ALBA Berlin's points have come from the free throw line so far in this second half. And that is just their second point with over 5 minutes gone. So Rokas Giedraitis, 10th most accurate foul shooter in the competition at 87%. Duly makes both of his foul shots. Beautiful catch beneath the bucket from Mathias Lessort. He's asking for a foul as well. 12 points in the game for him on perfect shooting from the field. Unicaja Malaga right back in this one here on the home court of ALBA Berlin. Peyton Seaver driving quickly, takes the contact, ball is lost. And Landry-Noko, having recovered it, coughed it straight back up once again. So the turnover count creeping up for ALBA Berlin. And now catching up with Unicaja Malaga in that regard. Cal Wiltjer looking for his third three, can't find the range. Rebound secured by Hermansen. He's pushing hard, gives it to Luke Sigma. Bullet pass. Now, was there a deflection? Because the possession remains in the hands of ALBA Berlin. Well, credit to the ALBA Berlin crowd here, because they haven't got on the backs of the team that they're supporting. Rather, they have raised the decibel level in an effort to encourage and inspire them, because they're being overrun so far in this third quarter. They can't even get the ball in bounds. My goodness, almost a 5-second violation. And having played textbook perfect basketball from their own playbook, ALBA Berlin are struggling to communicate, struggling to get on the same page so far in this second half. Unicaja Malaga have turned the tables completely. Hermansen drives to the bucket and gets the first field goal of the game with more than 6 minutes gone, of the second half, with more than 6 minutes gone in this third quarter. So Mathias Lessort trying to fashion a steal. Trying to ward off the steal and trying to get possession back. Lessort dropping the elbow on Rokas Giedraitis. It's a terrific drive and finish from Hermansen. So Roberts, defended by Seaver. He's picked up his dribble. Gives it to Suarez. Shot clock in the red. Ball is lost by Milosavljevic. Peyton Siva. Now he's blocked in the open court by Brian Roberts. Unicaja Malaga still in search of their first lead of the game, but they overturned what was a 19-point halftime deficit to get back to within one. They're currently trailing by 3. Now basketball, a game of runs, of course. It's Peyton Siva. Well, that's his first miss from the free throw line tonight. He's now 4 of 5 as he's unable to add to his 12-point total. A few nervous faces in amongst the ALBA Berlin faithful. Nail-biting stuff. Having seen a 19-point lead practically eradicated, not only to the single-digit variety, but back to within 1. On a couple of occasions. So Peyton Siva, 0 for 2 from the line on that particular trip. Now 4 of 6 on the evening. Vacinski. Brian Roberts for 3. Count it! And we have a tied basketball game for the first time since the opening tip. Unicaja Malaga dominating this third quarter. Rokas Giedraitis with the offensive board. Hermansen fakes the 3, gets beneath the free throw line but pulls it back out. Wraparound pass, finds Niels Gaffay, who buries the 3-pointer of his own. So still Unicaja Malaga in search of their first lead, but they are dominating this third quarter so far, tripling up the home team. Pulling up in the lane and getting it to go is Adam Vacinski, who's having a terrific night here in the German capital. 17 points in the game for him now. Brings his team back to within 1 once again. So Brian Roberts called for the foul. Look at Vacinski on the pull-up. Tough shot making from Unicaja Malaga's leading scorer on the night. Equaling its career high with that 17-point haul. So his next score of any description will see him enter uncharted territory in terms of what he's put on the board offensively before. So Peyton Siva able to rediscover his groove from 15 feet away. 13 points in the game for him now. So Peyton Siva to 14 points in the game. His team lead by 3. So they're being outscored 26 points to 10 in the second half so far. Terrific save by Niels Gaffay, but to no one in particular. Fantastic hustle to get a hand on the, or a pair of hands on the basketball. He couldn't control where he tossed it. So Boatwright being defended by Hermansen. 2 minutes to go in the third quarter. Third quarter that has been all Unicaja Malaga. Driving and getting to the basket effectively is Dragan Milosavljevic. Niels Gaffay, I think, will be called for the foul. It's Franz Wagner who's called for the foul when trying to defend the drive. So fouled in the act of shooting, Dragan Milosavljevic, 79% foul shooter on the season. His sole 3-point effort, or his sole 3-point make out of 3 attempts is how he's got his 3 points in this game so far. So unable to find the range on the first, Milosavljevic. But he does go 1 for 2 to make it a 1-possession game once again. So less than 2 minutes to go in this third quarter. And again, that almost typifying the difficulties that ALBA Berlin have had in this second half. Carlos Suarez getting down low, defending Hermansen. Giffey, oh, that's a spin move and finish with a one-handed jam. Terrific low post play by the 2-meter guard, able to put his team up by 4. Giffey moving to double digits in this game. So off the mark with the three-pointer is Milosavljevic. Now it's Hermansen. Pushing hard, beautiful backdoor cut from Rokas Giedraitis. He couldn't handle cleanly, kick to the corner. And Franz Wagner can't find the range. Last touched by Sasu Salin. And that will give ALBA Berlin possession. Watch the spin move and the one-handed jam by Niels Giffey. Terrific low post play, felt where the defender was, spun the other way. A drop step and dunk. Takes him to double digits in the game. His team are leading by 4. Unicaja Malaga still looking for their first lead of the night. Boatwright picked up by Hermansen. Movement finds Salin off the corner and he's clobbered to the court. No foul after releasing that three-pointer. So Salin defending Hermansen. Screen set by Noko. Noko rolling to the bucket. High, optimistic shot. Doesn't get anywhere close to drawing iron. So now we've got a 3-second difference between the shot clock and the game clock in the closing stages of this third quarter. Boatwright will no doubt fancy this matchup against Wagner. Working the dribble. Crossovers at his disposal. Hedging up his Niels Giffey. Shot clock in the red. Step back three is launched over Wagner. Back iron on the shot. Rebound secured by Giedraitis. Three-pointer launched off one leg by Franz Wagner. He can't get it to go. Well, what a brilliant display over the course of the third quarter by Unicaja Malaga, outscoring ALBA Berlin 27 points to 12 to get themselves right back into this game. Trailing by 19 at the half. At the end of the third quarter, they are down just 4. ALBA Berlin 70, Unicaja Malaga 66. Well, the three-pointer was a prominent weapon for Unicaja Malaga during the course of that third period. Burying 3 after 3, Karl Wiltjer hit 2 in succession. Wyszynski feeding Mathias Lessort, who remains perfect from two-point territory. 5 of 5 from the field in his 12-point haul. Niels Giffey was able to land from downtown, but those successes from the field were few and far between. Did rally well, but when the league's most potent offense only puts 12 points on the board, you know that they have been shackled effectively. Now the three-point shooting percentages far closer to parity than they were at the end of 2 quarters of play. Unicaja Malaga continuing to shoot the lights out from two-point range. Remember, they're the second best team in the competition from two-point territory at 59% for the season. And they're up at 79% here. Absolutely terrific fight back from Unicaja Malaga. If you'd have told them when they were trailing by 21 in the second quarter and by 19 at the half that they'd be down just 4 with 10 minutes to play, well, I think they would have taken that. Adam Wyszynski is perfect from two-point territory in his 17-point haul. It equals his career high. And if he continues in the same vein, well, he will set a new career high. He's likely to do so given how efficient and effective he's been tonight. Peyton Seaver has been outstanding on his return. 14 points in the game so far, including 6 of 8 from the free throw line. So it's Unicaja Malaga who have the opening possession of this final quarter. Boatwright working on Hermansen. Screen set by Shermadini. Hedging out is Johannes Thiemann, and in doing so, he's committed the foul. So Thiemann called for his 3rd foul.
steht jetzt auf, sieht super aus.
Giedraitis trying to help himself to a steal. Milosavljevic kicks it to Salin, who connects from downtown. Sasu Salin with his first points of the game on that. His fourth three-point attempt brings his team back to within one. And just as they did in the third quarter, they have got the first score of this fourth quarter to make it a one-point game. Peyton Seaver falling away to the left on that three-point attempt, but then look at the hustle to keep it alive to Hermansen. Hermansen working against Shermadini beneath the free throw line. Pull-up J in the lane is good for Martin Hermansen. 8 points in the game for him, and he puts his team up by 3, and still Unicaja Malaga remain in search of their first lead of the game. Salin. Carlos Suarez squaring up on Luke Sigma. Salin defended by Seaver. Seaver showing him left. Cutting down the lane is Shermadini off the delightful feed from Sasu Salin. Shermadini moving to 6 points in the game, and his team back to within 1. Sigma off the backdoor cut. Blows the easy layup at the bucket. And will Boatwright give the team the first lead of the game? They kick to the perimeter. Milosavljevic for 3, and he puts up Unicaja Malaga for the first time in this game. They lead by 2, but the lead is short-lived, because coming right back is Martin Hermansen. We're all square, 74 points apiece. Back iron on the three-point attempt. 2-on-3 opportunity. Unicaja Malaga back effectively in transition D. Oh, that's a really poor decision from Martin Hermansen, putting the ball straight into the hands of Unicaja Malaga. Turnover count continuing to creep up for the home team after they handled the basketball so well. They have now in the first half. As Shermadini gets to the cup, fouled in the act of shooting but couldn't complete the layup. 2 raking strides, 8 up the court beneath him. The drive from Boatwright, the dish, Dragan Milosavljevic, the former captain of ALBA Berlin, burying his second three-pointer of the game in his 7-point haul. I know we're seeing confirmation of his numbers. That's what gave the visiting team their first lead of the night. And now they lead for the second time. Georgi Shermadini, number 11 all-time in terms of free throw accuracy, 89% for his career. It's 82% for the stripe on the season. So he duly delivers, as he usually does, from 15 feet away. And that ties the largest lead of the game for tonight's visitors. They are up by 2. Hermansen has lost the ball once again. Salin pulling up for 3. Front rim on the shot, perhaps not the best advice shot. Hermansen looking to make amends for a couple of turnovers, and he does so by burying a 3-ball from the corner. Martin Hermansen moves to 13 points in the game after connecting on his first 3-point attempt tonight, now 1 of 4 from long range, and he puts his team up by 1 after they trailed by 2. Turnover committed as Carlos Suarez and Sasu Salin not on the same page. And now it's Unicaja Malaga who tie up the turnover count at 11 points apiece. And the last 2 ALBA Berlin turnovers were committed by the man who went some way to making amends for some of those poor decisions that he made with the basketball in his hand. But he's having a strong game overall despite that mental lapse. Martin Hermansen. Because in stark contrast to the 2 turnovers that he's just committed, he's also dished out 8 assists, along with 13 points from 4 of 8 shooting from 2-point territory. Giedraitis. Giedraitis can't find a range from 3-point territory. Suarez working the dribble, cutting back door is Salin. Lessort goes up strong, takes the contact. Peyton Siva taking one for his team there, putting his body on the line because Lessort was looking to tear the rim down. Peyton Siva employing the no layup rule. Look at the rotation. There's only one winner in this contest, but Peyton Siva, terrific team play. Now immediately Carlos Suarez is asking whether that's unsportsmanlike. Personally, well, it doesn't matter what I think, but I thought it was a legitimate play on the ball from the comparatively diminutive point guard, Peyton Siva. 1.83 meters going up against 206 centimeters of Mathias Lessort. And not only is he tall and big, Lessort, he possesses a terrific vertical leap as well. And all of those qualities were thundering toward the basket. Not an unsportsmanlike foul on this occasion. Remember when he was held up in the open court at the start of the second quarter, Lessort drew an unsportsmanlike foul against Niels Gaffay. Makes the first free throw to tie things up at 77. And Lessort doing an outstanding job from the line. 75% from the stripe tonight. 3 of 4 from the foul line. Back iron on the shot. He's got 13 points in the game, Lessort, and Carlos Suarez pushing hard for Unicaja Malaga. Just over 4 minutes gone in the final quarter. And it's Unicaja Malaga who are in the ascendancy once again. They're outscoring the home team by 5. Lessort against Tiemann. Ball into a crowd of legs. Last touch by Unicaja Malaga. Oh, Dragan Milosavljevic is saying that, no, well, that should be my ball. The official was perfectly placed. Turnover's the result, which sees Unicaja Malaga edge ahead by 1 in that particular unwanted statistical category. Well, there's the ball, loose, yours, mine. Bouncing around like a pinball in the forest of legs beneath the basket. So Sigma playing point forward. He's defended by Suarez. Giedraitis driving, kicks to the corner. Saibu doesn't take the 3, but he pulls up for a short 2. Long on the shot. Rebound secured by Landry Noko, but he's turned the ball over again. Well, on a couple of occasions, he's recovered possession for his team, only to give it straight back to Unicaja Malaga. Lessort looking to manhandle him down low. Now he comes up high to set a screen. He's rolling down towards the bucket. 3-pointer is drained from long range by Carlos Suarez. His first 3-pointer of the night takes him to 9 points in the game, and it gives Unicaja Malaga their largest lead of the game. They're up by 4. Giedraitis for 3, rim shot, rebounded by Suarez. Well, the fans of ALBA Berlin continuing to encourage the home side, but it's Unicaja Malaga who are outscoring ALBA Berlin by 8 in this fourth quarter so far. Just 7 points on the board now at around the midpoint of this final quarter. Carlos Suarez blowing a kiss in the direction of his teammate after being hooked up with the helper. What a turnaround. Unicaja Malaga's 3-point shooting percentage has skyrocketed to above that of ALBA Berlin. Salin, that's off right. Offensive rebound almost secured by Suarez. Instead, it's Landry who secures possession for his team. Hermansen calling the half-court set. He's defended by Salin. Saibu for 3, counted. Yoshiko Saibu with his first 3-pointer of the game. And that brings them back to within 1. Snapping a run of 5 unanswered points as Unicaja Malaga continue to shoot the lights out from downtown. The former ALBA Berlin skipper Dragan Milosavljevic connecting from long range once again to take him to 10 points in the game and put his team up by 4 once more. Saibu back to Giffai. Corner shot attempted by Saibu once again, and he connects. Back-to-back three-pointers by Yoshiko Saibu are keeping his team in touching distance. They're trailing by 1, hanging on desperately as we approach money time in this 4th and final quarter. Lessort defended by Noko. Double team from Saibu, who is everywhere at the moment and doing so many good things for his team. He creates that steal. And Hermansen drawing the foul. But make no mistake, it was a steal that was created by the stealth activity of Yoshiko Saibu, who doubled down and forced a turnover. And this is after he has buried back-to-back three-pointers to bring his team back to within 1. Giedraitis behind the back dribble, buries the short corner J, and he puts his team up by 1. Rokas Giedraitis moves to 13 points in the game. Less than 3 minutes to play, and ALBA Berlin regained the lead. Timeout on the floor. Well, Dragan Milosavljevic hitting big shots for his team, but so too Rokas Giedraitis. Remember, Giedraitis led the top 16 phase of the competition with 15.3 points per game, and he's coming up big for his club tonight. "13 points in the game for Giedraitis on 3 of 4 shooting from 2-point territory. A modest 1 of 7 from downtown, but my goodness, did his team need that bucket on that trip down the floor, and he duly delivered. Roberts has picked up his dribble. Suarez with the shot clock in the red, defended by Giffai. He gets a hand up, backhand on the shot. Ball is loose, secured by Milosavljevic. New 14 for Unicaja Malaga. Brian Roberts driving on Hermansen. Lessort setting the screen, rolling to the bucket. Rim shot, and it's another offensive rebound. Lessort with a terrific hands, and once again Yoshiko Saibu coming to his team's rescue, poking that ball out of the big mitts of Lessort, and then the three-pointer buried from long range by Niels Giffai. 3 of 3 from downtown tonight, puts his team up by 4. And then a turnover committed by Brian Roberts. And I'm sure that the home crowd are going to take some credit for that, because their noise is making life very difficult indeed. But look at that for a play from Saibu. And then on the ensuing break that he created, Niels Giffai did not hesitate. 3 of 3 from downtown in his 13-point haul. One of 5 double-digit scorers for the well-balanced attack of ALBA Berlin. Their last, or 3 of their last 4 field goals have been from long range. Rejected by Lessort, the league's 5th best leading shot blocker, making his presence felt in the paint. But ALBA Berlin retain possession. The drive from Hermansen. Lessort denying the layup attempt. A nice catch by Luke Sigma. Turnaround J is easy money And Lessort, well, he may have injured his right ankle. Let's hope that he's okay, because we wouldn't want to see his impact curtailed in this game or indeed the quarterfinal series. He has been absolutely terrific tonight, but he got up rather gingerly after jamming on the brakes hard to try and change direction. Timeout on the floor. Deep into money time here in the fourth quarter at the Max Schmelinghalle. The home team leading by 6 after trailing by as many as 4 right here in the fourth quarter. They're currently on a run of 10 points without reply, or the home team. And again, the crowd's enthusiastic, energetic, passionate support has been a notable feature here at the Max Schmelinghalle. It's been a fantastic atmosphere. And there you can see where the legs got tangled up, Lessort trying to recover, but the wheels just not securely beneath him. Well, let's hope that he's okay, Mathias Lessort. Injury's part of the game, of course. But professional basketball players, being the competitive beasts that they are, they'll want to ensure that both teams are at full strength. The harder earned the victory, the sweeter it feels. It's good to see that Lessort is able to continue in the closing minute and a half of this game here in Berlin. So Roberts down to Wiltjer, inside to Lessort. He's doubled immediately by the diminutive duo of Peyton Siva and Yoshiko Saibu. So ALBA Berlin now be in the penalty. It will send Mathias Lessort to the free throw line. Now normally that's a pretty good foul to commit, but there you see his numbers on this evening. He has been outstanding from the stripe tonight. And he moves to 15 points in the game. A perfect 5 for 5 from the field. That brings his team back to within 5, make it 4. And that snaps a run of 10 unanswered points that Berlin put together to put themselves up by 6. Hermansen gives it to Giffey. Cutting back door is Saibu. Sigma defended by Lessort. It's a turnover. Never a good time to commit one, but certainly not there with the game in the balance. Unicaja Malaga looking to make this a one-possession affair. Salin gives it back to Roberts. He's defended by Saibu. Working the dribble. Now we've got a foul committed on the ground by Yoshiko Saibu. And that will send Kyle Wiltjer to the free throw line for 2 shots, because they are now in the penalty. In stark contrast, Unicaja Malaga have plenty of fouls to give. Now watch them swarm all over ALBA Berlin at the defensive end. That's a difficult pass to pick up for Hermansen. The daisy cutter coming up somewhere beneath his knees. Kyle Wiltjer, his first trip to the line tonight. Goes 1 of 2, but gets his own offensive rebound, and effectively that's a 3-point play. Kyle Wiltjer moves to 9 points in the game. 2 3-pointers, a foul shot, a missed foul shot, then the follow-up J. He brings his team back to within 1. And again, the offensive rebounds have really hurt ALBA Berlin in this fourth quarter. Hermansen almost lost the dribble. Mathias Lessort thought he had bagged himself a steal. And his energy has been a real asset for Unicaja Malaga. Watch him get down low, quick hands. Truth be told, I think it was one of his feet that caused the turnover, as confirmed by the official on the baseline. So we've got just over a 14-second differential between the shot clock and the game clock in the closing stages of this fourth quarter. ALBA Berlin leading by 1. Timeout on the floor. Well, nobody got an effective body on Kyle Wiltjer. Truth be told, Saibu did his best, but just look at the size mismatch here. He went over the top of Saibu, who has done so many good things for his team in this fourth and final quarter, but nothing he could do when trying to keep Wiltjer from getting the offensive rebound. But that is why the coaching manual states, and that is why coaches repeat almost ad nauseum, give up position to get possession. Saibu elected to leave his feet and jump for the ball. And all of a sudden, well, not all of a sudden, but throughout the second half, the visiting fans from Malaga have got something to cheer about. Their team have been absolutely sensational in this second half after coming out of the blocks really sluggishly and being dominated in the course over the course of the first two quarters. So Saibu handling the rock, waving off Peyton Siva. Siva going down to the corner. Spacing an issue for ALBA Berlin. Saibu keeps it himself, gets there, but rejected. Now, is that a goaltend or is that a block? We are going to the replay now. My instinct was this ball was on its way up towards the backboard. And I think that Mathias Lessort, who's been good for 1.3 blocks per game this season, has got himself another one. Ball on its way up. Oh! So what will the replay conclude? Wow, that is tight. If the ball was coming off the glass, then that is a goaltend. But if the ball was still en route towards its apex and towards kissing the window, well, that is a clean block. So an official review taking place, the official scrutinizing it, so too a couple of eagle-eyed fans in the expensive seats. Wow. What's the call going to be here? Every available angle that is of use will be poured over by the officials at the table. Because if it's a block, I think it will be possession to Unicaja Malaga, which will see the shot clock turned off, and they will have the opportunity to win this game here in regulation. So Saibu on the drive. My instinct was in real time that it's a clean block. I think that may, well, we'll wait and see what the call is. Mathias Lessort has got one block so far tonight. Here's the verdict. And it's a jump ball, my goodness. Now, which way does the possession arrow favor? And it will be Unicaja Malaga to inbound from the end line. So if the possession arrow favors the home team, excuse me, it will be ALBA Berlin to inbound from the end line. 1.4 seconds in which to get a shot off. Not caught cleanly. Ball tossed up. And a terrific defensive sequence by Unicaja Malaga sees ALBA Berlin unable to fashion a shot in the 1.4 seconds that were on the clock after that jump ball signaled by the officials. Mathias Lessort deserves immense credit because it was his play which pinned the shot against the glass that resulted in that call after the video angles were being scrutinized by the officials over at the videographer's table. So 13.8 seconds remain. Timeout on the floor. Luis Casimiro drawing up the play for his team to get a field goal of any description, preferably with no time for ALBA Berlin to respond. Unicaja Malaga currently on a 5-0 run to bring them back to within 1. 5 points they posted without reply after ALBA Berlin went on a 10-0 run to go from 4 points down to go up by 6, 90 points to 84. So concentration absolutely crucial for both teams now. So too is communication, because the fives who are out on the floor have been sent back into battle with their respective instructions from their head coaches, but now the players have to execute. And it's all very well being a terrific athlete, but if you move at the wrong time and the play breaks down, then that is when improvisation comes to the fore. So everybody has their assignments, everybody knows what they have to do. In many respects, the defense are reactive. They have to react to the lineup that the team in possession will be putting out on the floor. Look at how hard Roberts is having to work to get open. Instead, it comes to Lessort. He's not a threat from three-point territory. Brian Roberts is. He's defended by Seaver. Ball remains in Roberts' hand. The clock is ticking down. He pulls up for 3. Rim shot. Rebound to Lessort! Lessort with the putback with 2.2 seconds remaining. Mathias Lessort. His energy and activity is rewarded once again. Perfect from the field in his 18-point total. What an impact that man has had on the closing stages of this game. He produced a defensive play down at the other end, which resulted in a jump ball after the play was scrutinized by the officials. And then after receiving the inbound here, setting the screen out high, he was able to muscle his way towards the bucket and cram home the putback to move to 18 points in the game. The offensive rebound, the follow-through slam, puts Unicaja Malaga up by 1. Now on a run with 7 points without reply. 2.2 seconds remain in the game. And what will Coach Ito draw up for his squad in this juncture? Endgame situations are drilled repeatedly throughout practice, and for precisely this type of scenario. It's a one-possession game, a one-point game. A field goal of any description will see ALBA Berlin squeak their way over the line. Unicaja Malaga know that they have to defend for just 2.2 seconds. They've got plenty of fouls to give. They can be aggressive with the receiver. It's Hermansen looking to inbound. They get it to Giedraitis, who fires for 3. Back iron on the shot. The ball is tipped. Did he beat the buzzer? The crowd erupt in celebration, but the final buzzer had sounded, and the red illumination around the backboard, I think, was on before the final tip was pointed through the basket, which means that Unicaja Malaga come away with a 1-point victory in a game where they trailed by as many as 21. Let's look at it again. The 3-pointer by Giedraitis, Niels Gefai bounding skywards, where you can see that the ball was red as soon as it touched the rim. So the tip-in by Niels Gefai does not count, and it's the visitors, Unicaja Malaga, who overturn a 19-point halftime deficit, down by 19 with 2 quarters of play to go. They battled their way back to tie things up at 63. They trailed by 4 at the start of the 4th quarter. And then, courtesy of a 10-0 run, they found themselves down 6, 90-84 in the closing stages. But they close out the game with a run of 7 points without reply to take an unlikely first game victory here in the best-of-3 quarterfinal series. ALBA Berlin 90, Unicaja Malaga 91. And it's ALBA Berlin who are stunned at having blown a comprehensive double-digit lead, but way to rally, way to recover, and way to sneak a victory on the road for Unicaja Malaga. who will return to the comforts of home court to try and close this series out in 3 days' time. March 8th is when Game 2 will take place, and that will be in Spain at the Palacio Deportes Jose. Let's listen to Mathias Lessort.
First half, where you were down by 19 points. What happened in halftime?
We showed character tonight. I'm really proud of my teammate. That's a big win team, but we got to remember that we only did 50% of the job. We still got one more game to win to advance to the next round.
What happened to your foot just a couple of minutes ago?
I twist my ankle. I step on somebody's foot and I twist my ankle, but I'm okay. I'm a warrior. I won't give up on that.
Please describe the last situation where you had the game winner. Please describe it for us.
I don't know. They switched. Brian take a good shot, and I had a mismatch on the rebound, so I take advantage of this. I try to get the best position I can, and luckily the ball gets in my head. So that's the kind of play that happened one time, and today was me, so I'm happy to help my team like that.
Great game winner. Thank you very much.
Well, Mathias Lessort stating that he is a warrior, and he brought those battling qualities to the basketball court tonight.
Congratulations for this victory. How much was this victory a question of character?
I think we were really mad after first half. We let them for too much. We played really bad defensive transition, especially. They scored 18 points in the fast break, so we tried to limit those points, and it worked with the good effort of all the team.
In 3 days there will be game 2. What will be the approach for your team?
Now we know we can win, we can beat them. For sure, it's only one game. We need one more to advance. So we need to keep the focus, get back to Malaga, take some rest, and again, repeat.
Thank you.
So Adam Baczynski equaling his career high with 17 points in the game. Mathias Lessort mobbed by the visiting fans here at the Max Schmelinghalle, leading all scorers with 18 points in the game, equaling his career high. As we see some of the highlights, Peyton Siva opening the scoring with a three-pointer. But just as on his previous career high, Mathias Lessort has poured 18 points in the game, including the game winner on perfect shooting from the field. On his previous 18-point haul, he was 8 for 8 from two-point territory. Tonight, he is 6 for 6 and a terrific 6 of 7 from the free throw line. Terrific because you have to consider that he's a 58% foul shooter for his career. Carl Wiltjer got hot, nailing 2 three-pointers and a big offensive rebound, giving him a three-point play. That was the closing play of the game, where Mathias Lessort's put-back dunk saw Unicaja Malaga win by 1.